I really wasn't planning on doing another video today, but I went for lunch and they gave us these disposable wooden cutlery. And I thought, ooh, I can make something out of those. I haven't quite yet figured out what to do with the fork, but oh, I came up with an immediate idea for that knife. Can't wait to show you what I did with this cutlery. So I saw the serrated edge of that knife and I thought, oh, that would look so pretty on a little kitchen shelf or a plate rack. So I decided to have a go at it. It was quite easy to cut because it's quite thin wood. So what I did was is I just drew a line and then took my X-Acto knife and cut it out. So, and actually is quite a nice design, and it seemed like a waste to throw it in the garbage. Then after I was finished cutting it, of course, I sanded the edge just to make sure that it's nice and flat. And then I brought out my cutters. These are a must-have for anybody that does miniatures. They're so easy to use, as you can see here, and they cut really good 45-degree angles as well. So I'm just snipping off the edge of it, and I have to make both pieces exactly identical. I plan on using these pieces for the top and the bottom of my shelf. If you look at the top right of the screen, that beautiful little green shelf is my inspiration piece for this piece that I'm trying to make. Isn't it beautiful? It's not a miniature, it's a real size shelf, but just a really pretty shelf. So these are the two side pieces for the shelf that I've cut out. And again, I use these wonderful clippers. I'm not actually sure what the proper name for them are, but they certainly are very handy to use. And I'm just kind of drawing a rough place that I'm going to be cutting the sides of this out, just so that they're, just to give it a little bit of a design element. So there you are. I cut them out, and as you can see, I sanded them so they've got a nice rounded edge. I actually used my Dremel tool to sand those round little scoops out for the bottom of the shelf. I just wanted it to have a little bit of a design element. So now I'm taking some regular popsicle sticks and I'm cutting them the exact same length. I need two of them in order to build shelves for inside of my little shelf that I'm building. So once again, I bring out the trusted Elmer's wood glue, which I use for every wood project that I'm working on. And I'm just going to glue this together. Now, a lot of people would probably square it up, but not me. I'm going to eyeball it. So I'm just going to take the two side pieces, you can see here, and I'm going to just glue this together and square it up as I go. So there will be the bottom of the shelf. That's what it's going to look like. And because I don't have anything to kind of clamp it together with, I'm going to have to hold it for a little bit in order for it to bond well with the glue. So I've just used the popsicle stick, as you can see there, right above the surrogated knife piece. And then I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the end of it. And then I'm just going to glue the two side pieces to the bottom. So there you go. The bottom of our little shelf is done. And I'm just putting some glue along the top of it. And I'm going to put the top of the shelf on. And again, the top of the shelf is also done with the wider tongue depressor size popsicle sticks. And I made that slightly slightly bigger, and I kind of rounded the edge of the front of it with some sandpaper. So it is like slightly wider than the rest of the shelf, but I think that's probably the way it should look. If it, if it was in real life size, the top of the shelf is usually a little bit wider. So this little piece of the knife I'm going to use as a trim for the top, and I'm just going to tuck it in, and it's got some glue on it, and there you go. That's the basic shelf without the actual shelves put in it for putting plates or dishes. So um, I had originally intended to do the shelves themselves out of the popsicle sticks, but I don't think it was quite deep enough. So yeah, I just think that I want it to be just a little bit wider. So I went back to the drawing board and I cut two more pieces of the tongue depressor, and they're all exactly the same length. And I'm just going to put that tongue depressor piece right over the regular popsicle stick piece that I put in. And actually, I think it gave it a little bit more depth. You'll see later once it's painted up. So that will be my bottom shelf, and I'm quite pleased with that. Originally, I had intended to make the shelves a lot narrower, but I'm glad that I actually changed my mind because I think it looks quite a bit better this way. And this is the second shelf that I'm going to be putting right in the center. So I'm actually quite tickled pink with this little shelf. I think it looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna glue that second piece. Whoops. It's hard to get it exactly right. So I'm just gonna put that in there. There you go. That's the finished product. So, of course, we've got to paint it and everything. But as you can see, in between all of the gluing, what you didn't see on camera is the fact that I actually held it like this in order to get a really, really good grip on it and make sure that it's really going to stick to itself. So there you go. Yeah, so I'll have to let that dry for a little bit, and we'll come back in a couple minutes. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half. I let the glue set up, and that's what the little shelf looks like. So I'm actually quite pleased with it. I think it's kind of cute. So I guess, you could stain it. I wasn't too careful with the glue, so there is a lot of glue kind of oozing in the corners. So I plan on painting it. So this was my inspiration paper. This is actually the back of one of the pieces of paper that I used inside the Trang house. And I really, really like the way this piece of paper looks. So this is what I'm going to use for the back of the shelf. And I had intended to paint the shelf green, but I think this green color is just a little bit too mint green for my taste. So I brought this color out. This is more of a sage green, and I think it's closer to the inspiration piece, and I actually really like this color. So this is the color that I've chosen, and as you can see here, I think this paint and this paper really complement each other nicely. So I've given it a coat of paint, and I'm just going to wait for it to dry, and then I will finish it off and show you the finished product. Well, here you go. This is what it turned out like. So I'm actually quite tickled with it, and who could ever in a million years think that that was just a knife that I got with some fast food? As you can see, the back of the paper is the same paper that I used upstairs in the Trang house. But I really liked this side of the paper as well, and I wanted to find a way to somehow use up the excess scraps because us miniaturists, we never throw anything out. So this is my little shelf that I made. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and hit that like button, and have the best day ever. And once again, happy Canada Day.